Hello! It's Feel Good Friday! Whoopee! How's everybody doing? I'm Margot Gunther, as most of you probably already know, and this is my little girl Lily, and it's Feel Good Friday. I love you, and I love Fridays, and I just, life is good. Oh my God, I have so much going on. Let's start with an Evo size, evolutionary exercise, Evo size for short. Sometimes I get people saying, what's she saying? I've never heard that word before. I just made it up. And basically what the concept is that if we do something that feels good, our nervous system shifts and our body relaxes and our breathing becomes clearer, and it's so, what a relief. Every time I do it, it's like, oh, thank you, and that's important. So let's do it, and then we'll talk about it in a minute. So let's do just a quickie today. Just put your fingertips where your ears and your head hook together, and then I like to go along the back of my skull. And I just go back and forth between those a few times and then drag that down your throat past your collarbone. And then just notice how you feel. Ooh, there's that big deep breath, and that big deep breath is physiological proof that it worked. Most of the time in stress side, and our breathing is rapid and shallow, which gets blood to our muscles, oxygen to our muscles, so we can fight and we can, run really fast. And then when you do anything that feels good, your nervous system shifts into rest and digest, and every muscle in your body relaxes. Your breathing slows down, your blood flow changes from back here, which is all about what can go wrong, what did go wrong, what's gonna go wrong all day long. And instantly the blood flow comes to the front of your brain where conscious thought can happen. And when we do things in our life, there's this constant, oh, you stupid, why'd you do that? Oh, come on, you don't know how to do that, blah, 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 blah. Most of which is stuff we learned when we were little kids, and we just totally misinterpreted it, and now there's this voice in our head that's constantly bringing us down. It's a crazy voice. And today, I'm going to talk about some things we can do about that voice. That voice is lying to you. One of my favorite bumper stickers is "Don't believe everything you think," because our brain is just making stuff up and misinterpreting things, and it thinks that that's what you want to hear. It thinks that that's love. It thinks that that's what is going to make you a better person, and it's wrong. And I've been a big fan of Louise Hay since the 80s, and I am a self-proclaimed affirmation master, man. I can look at somebody else's affirmation, and I can rewrite it to make it correct. And even many of you know that I love this calendar. It's a Louise Hay calendar, and every day there's a different saying, and every day I analyze even these and often rewrite them to suit me better, but also to be more correct. And there's a big thing out there where, if you think it can happen and all that kind of stuff. And I believe it and I don't believe it. It's like, I've had certain affirmations that I've been trying to manifest for a long time, and they still haven't happened. It isn't really that it's about, to me, it's not about that. to me, it's about giving your brain some chewing gum so it has something else to do besides berate you and tell you how it's going to go wrong. So it's really about giving your brain chewing gum, which is healthier for you, which has your heart rate down, which has your breathing better, which has your cells getting nourishing oxygen and but also other nourishing chemistry, as opposed to the things that our brain is normally doing, which is degrading our cells. Literally, this isn't woo-woo, that's physiology. And so to me, when you give your brain something else to do, then it will, it doesn't send out the same chemistry, right? So the idea for me of affirmations is to be kind to ourselves and to give a different voice in your head. So a few days ago on Wednesday, the affirmation says, I now choose to release every negative, destructive, fearful idea and thought from my mind. It really says that. That's pretty heavy order, because we have so much going on in our brains that we're not aware of. And I have a lot going on in my life. I'm trying to buy a house. I'm trying to sell a house. I've got, family stuff going on. I've got health stuff going on. It's just, not to mention regular life, finances, career, all that kind of stuff. And I remember many years ago, like 88 or 89, I read Louise Hay's book for the first time, and I thought, and these were all brand new ideas to me then. I'd never heard this from anywhere. Now this kind of stuff is pretty commonplace, but wow, the first time I read it, I read it and I was like, wow, this really can change your life. And I realized I hadn't done any of the exercises. So I went back and I picked an exercise, and the one that I picked, she said, your brain has all these thoughts that you're not even aware of, but they're all day long, like, look at that fat lady over there. Oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. Or you could never do that. Or, things like that. And her version of it is that that's how you really feel about you. And that the real change can happen when you turn to self-love instead of self-loathing. Totally makes sense to me. So her exercise was to basically do this, that to notice when you make those kinds of thoughts and replace it with something. Her suggestion was, I approve of myself. And I did it. And I had a pretty simple life at the time, and I really made some effort to do it. And I have to say that in about a week, I was pretty successful, and that my brain just wasn't thinking those kinds of thoughts anymore. And it lasted a long time, and I kept doing it. And over the 40-some years since I was in my 20s, I've done it several times. And on Wednesday, when that affirmation came up, I wrote to some of my closest friends and I said, let's do this. And they were all like, oh my God, I need this so bad. And they all had something in their life that really made them say that. So I made myself this little card. And so I think the important thing is to have something to go to from whatever the negative thought is. So I made this little card to remind me. One of them says, love you, cutie. And then I'm also kind of adding a little pat on my little heart. And this one says, bless your little heart. So I'm just kind of carrying this around with me. This one says, I feel goody. And this one says, I approve of myself, which was the original one. So the idea of picking something that you can automatically go back to, by just saying, oh, I'm not going to think that anymore or whatever. I think that I think that then your brain does it. It's chewing gum from your brain. I remember another thing that a yoga teacher once said to me. She said, "My mind is a rambunctious puppy dog, and I am the infinitely patient master." You want to get Snoopy? This is my little puppy dog. We'll go get it. So, challenge for you to just pick something to say nice to yourself every time you notice that you're saying something not very nice. Does that sound good? Let's have some fun with this. Okay, are you ready for a little feel-good dance party? So, I'm a little bit in that mood because Riviera Maya, Mexico is next week, and a lot of people are like in their final frenzy of getting ready for it, and some people are already down there. And I'm not going. For the first time since 2016, I'm not going. That's a long time. For 8 years, I went every single year. Well, there was actually 2 years they didn't have it. But anyway, so, and then as you know, I have become a pretty big Phish fan since then. And so I thought for today's dance party, I'm going to go back to the first Phish song I ever heard. 2016, Riviera Maya. They opened up with a song I heard the ocean sing. And at the end of it, Trey says, he's standing on the stage looking out at the Caribbean and all these Phish fans, and he says, "Well, this doesn't suck." I love you, Trey. So anyway, everybody get up off your butt, and I'm going to demonstrate half a body self-massage. I do this every single week because I want you to really get it, how simple it is. And it needs to be done anyway. So get up, let's dance, do what I do. That sound right there of the crowd, that's like, oh, I love that sound. Here we go. 2 songs, 2 hands. Drag that all towards the heart. And then wipe it off. Now compare how you feel on that side compared to the other side. Better, right? And a moment ago, the other side felt the same, right? So now I challenge you to get the other side while you're walking around in your life. I love you. Mwah. Have a beautiful week. And if you're on your way to Mexico to see fish, I love you even more. Have a great time. And I'll see you next Friday. Mwah.